Hello, welcome back to Movie News with Trey. I'm your host, Trey, and I bring you the movie news. Let's get right into it. Lord of the Rings, just a recap, I've kind of talked about this before. Lord of the Rings has a show that will be coming out on Amazon Prime, and they just released a bunch of cast members. This is actually kind of old news, I missed it. This was like 2 weeks ago. But they released a bunch of new cast members. They've already had released a couple other cast confirmations, but they just released a big list of names, and they are relatively, I hate to call an actor unknown when they've been in the series, because that just feels disrespectful to them, but they're never going to watch this. So these are a bunch of unknown actors. They have, a lot of them have been in stage productions and also different TV shows, so they're not completely first-time actors, but none of them have ever headlined a popular TV show or movie. So I didn't recognize any of them, and so I'm not going to sit here and read through 30 names that no one will recognize. But I am going to link the website below if you're interested in seeing. There was no confirmation of what these roles will be, or who's going to be leads or just reoccurring characters, anything like that. So not super exciting, but I guess exciting that it is continuing to come along. Just to recap, the Amazon bought the rights to The Lord of the Rings for a TV show for $250 million, and they, with the hope of having a 5-season show. And apparently it's going to be one of the most expensive shows ever. It has officially been renewed for season 2. So, I mean, there's always the chance of them not doing 5 seasons, just because if it's not good and if the fans don't like it, obviously they won't continue to dump money into it. But I guess exciting to see that's coming along. Allegedly it's going to be here in 2021, but there was a lot of delays with COVID, so we'll see if it ever comes out. But we'll see. It might be next year, might be the year after. Moving on, bringing back the trash news segment. Ariana Grande is releasing a concert documentary movie on Netflix that is dropping tomorrow. It is called Excuse Me, I Love You. Hey Ariana, Taylor Swift already did it twice now, and so did a lot of other musicians, so maybe be original. Boom! You want to know what else is trash? Sony's ability to keep secrets or keep rumors from leaking about their upcoming movies. It is pretty much confirmed that everyone is back for the next Spider-Man movie. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield will be back as Spider-Man. Kirsten Dunst back as Mary Jane. Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy. Jamie Foxx as Electro. Alfred Molina as Doc Ock. Those have basically all been confirmed, and then it's actually even rumored now that Charlie Cox is going to be back as Daredevil from the Netflix Daredevil show. So this is super exciting. I'm not gonna lie, I am excited for this movie. I'm just very disappointed that all this has came out way before the movie even takes place. We will go into this movie knowing that there will be surprise cameos by these people. And I think it would have been absolutely incredible to have been in the theater and just be blown away by those scenes. But
I guess we'll never know.
So yeah, it's just disappointing. And also there's no confirmation if Charlie Cox comes back, if that means that the rest of the Netflix Marvel movies are going to cross over. We don't know anything more than that. It's just rumors at this point. But just know that if you've seen a Spider-Man movie in the past, you'll probably see those characters come back. I've even heard rumors that William Dafoe and the Sandman might be back. So that's disappointing, but exciting at the same time. Back to regular news, Marvel announced yet another show just a week after the Investor Day for some reason. This one is going to be called Marvel Legends, and I'm not really sure who this is for, but it's a new series that will showcase individual characters viewers have come to know and love over the years and revisit some of their most iconic moments. So they're starting with Wanda and Vision. So Scarlet Witch and Vision, they're going to have episodes about those characters starting January 8th, which obviously then gets us prepped for WandaVision, which comes out on the 15th of January. So I'm not entirely sure who this is for. I guess if you're just like in the mood to not watch a full movie, but just like see clips of certain characters. Yeah, so it seems odd that it's like a show. So it comes out January 8th, and we'll see, I guess, what that is. It was reported that Chris Pine is going to be headlining a Dungeons and Dragons movie, which is exciting. Obviously, he's attractive, so there's some eye candy for the ladies who go see the movie who don't like D&D. There's really no info about this movie besides the directors from Game Night. John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein are going to be heading up this project, writing and directing. Chris Pine is really good, and he's been in like medieval movies. Outlaw King, I think, was on Netflix, which was a good one. So yeah, I guess excited. Also, we'll maybe see that in 2-3 years. So not crazy exciting now. Continuing on with a story from a few weeks ago, HBO Max and Warner Brothers had their big deal where all the movies from Warner Brothers are gonna premiere on HBO Max. And so that has been getting a lot of backlash from different people. In particular, Legendary Entertainment is a production company, and they actually basically financed Dune and Godzilla vs. Kong. So they paid for 75% of the Dune budget, which was $175 million. And then they financed a similar amount of the Kong vs. Godzilla, which was $160 million. And so those are huge budget movies. And Legendary obviously put up a bunch. And apparently they were given 30-minute heads up that HBO, like they were told 30 minutes before HBO announced it publicly that they had teamed up with Warner Brothers. So obviously there's a lot of frustration on Legendary's side, because I don't see how they could make as much money by streaming. And it's also, so apparently earlier, and I think I mentioned this, Netflix tried to purchase Godzilla vs. Kong for $250 million, like buy the rights so that they could release it on Netflix. And so the Warner Brothers parent company, Warner Media, actually blocked that. So like Legendary was like good to go on that, and then Warner Media blocked it, and then turned around and made this deal with HBO Max, and then gave Legendary a 30-minute heads up. So it's a little shady, obviously. It's all, yeah, it seems weird. So several big directors, Christopher Nolan came out, and he was like strongly against it all. And even the director of Dune, he wrote like an open letter on Variety, and he basically was like saying that, you know, this was the best movie he's ever made, and he was, you know, willing to postpone it so it could have a big theatrical release. It was actually supposed to come out, I think, today. But so he was like down to postpone it till next October, when people felt more comfortable going to theaters, because he understood that, you know, a movie of this magnitude, you know, needs to be seen in theaters. That was kind of his take. But he brought up a good point, which has kind of changed my opinion of it. Because originally I was like super excited for this, which I still am, because I get to see these movies. But it did, he brought up a point of movies of this scale cannot be supported by streaming only. And so when you have a movie that is, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars with a budget and is potentially a franchise like Dune, because Dune is part of a book and it's just the first half of the book. So they've already plans to make a second Dune, and there's also more books that they could make. So he talked about how this could potentially kill the franchise because producers don't want to put up the budget that it would take to make a movie of this size. And so that kind of got me thinking, you know, obviously being able to see these movies at home is awesome, and I'm excited about that. But the risk of it being the only movie in a franchise, or movies of this scale not being able to be made because of this model, I would rather, you know, wait and go see it in theaters. And so obviously I love going to the movie theater and watching it. So obviously I'm kind of biased in that opinion. But yeah, it is interesting because streaming obviously brings in a lot of money, but I can't see how streaming a movie of that size could gain as much money as it releasing in theaters. And so it does also just feel weird, you know, hopefully the end is in sight with all these vaccines coming out. And so, you know, late next year, I hope and pray that people will feel comfortable going to the movies. You know, going to the movie to see a new release hopefully is not like a wild thing, and we feel safe doing that. I don't really know, but it just seems odd that Warner Brothers did this now with, I mean, hopefully the end in sight. But yeah, so we'll see continuing with that. But kind of touching on that, a couple things that you could watch this week. So Wonder Woman 84 comes out Christmas Day on HBO Max, and so if you're interested in that, it's available also on Disney Plus. The movie Soul is coming out, and that's Pixar's latest movie. And then another big movie that came out for video on demand and rental is Tenet, which was Christopher Nolan's movie that came out earlier. The last bit of news is it is spoilers for the season finale of Mandalorian. So that'll be the last thing I touch on. So if you don't want to spoil that, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. And now spoilers. Hopefully you guys watched the finale. It was absolutely incredible. Also, just a tip: don't ever go on. If you watch a show like that, just don't go on social media that day until you watch it. First thing, I got up that morning, pulled up my phone, and top trending thing said Luke Skywalker, and I was like, okay, that probably means he's in the Mandalorian season finale. So I was still excited, but just the initial, I was kind of expecting it, is sad. But anyways, the post-credit scene announced that the Book of Boba Fett is going to be coming in December 2021. So that is interesting. It's exciting. That is like, I guess that's a new Boba Fett show, but also could be season 3 of The Mandalorian. No real confirmation. I mean, season 3 has been like confirmed, but then all we saw was this Book of Boba Fett. So I don't know. Part of me wants to continue. I mean, there's a huge part of me that wants to continue watching The Mandalorian with Din and Bo-Katan and like that story of retaking Mandalore if that's like the direction, because I feel like there's just a lot left to show, and I think the story is really interesting. But then also part of me is like, it ended great, and Star Wars things struggle to end great, at least the movies, and so like just kind of leaving us wanting, I think there's something to be said to leaving you wanting more instead of giving you something until it turns bad. So I think it'll probably just be its own separate show, the Book of Boba Fett. Yeah, that's exciting. And also Disney is great at keeping secrets, because that just came out of nowhere. So be interested to see that, obviously a full year before that happens, but that's exciting. And that's all for this week. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time.